welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're about to dive into a truly profound cosmic paradigm shift. We're looking at a fascinating framework known as the architecture of eternal return. Normally when we think about the fundamental nature of reality, we just assume there's a definitive starting line, a day zero, right? But today, we're going to challenge the very core of that assumption. We're looking at the actual mechanics of existence itself. And I promise you, by the end of this explainer, the way you view the universe is going to be fundamentally transformed.
So what if the universe didn't begin once, but many times? Take a second and just let that sink in. It completely shatters our deepest assumption that existence has one single lonely origin point. If we're right about this, everything we know about time, space, and our own place within it gets flipped entirely on its head. Instead of a singular spark jumping out of nothingness, we might actually be looking at a rhythmic heartbeat of reality itself.
Section 1. The linear illusion. It's incredibly natural and honestly profoundly human to view time as a straight path. Our entire lives are built on it. We wake up, we go through our day, we go to sleep. We are biologically wired to view time as a straight path, a linear reality. A neat progression with a clear start, a development, and an end. But human intuition doesn't always map onto cosmic reality. Nature doesn't care about our neat straight lines, much to the dismay of anyone trying to strictly organize a calendar. And this brilliantly illustrates the friction here, because natural reality prefers loops. Patterns form, they stabilize for a while, break apart, and then reorganize again. Reality is full of friction against straight trajectories. Nature heavily favors cycles. So what does this actually mean for our big bangs and our grand origin stories? Well, it means a beginning might only be the moment a new order becomes visible to us. Think about the gravity of that statement. Before a perceived starting point, existence wasn't just some empty void waiting for a spark. Not at all. There was already activity happening. There were processes, profound interactions, and an entire previous structure that was in the very act of disappearing, just so it could reorganize itself into what we can finally observe. Section 2. Nature's recurring patterns. We really need to understand that this nonlinear reorganization isn't just some weird cosmic anomaly or a neat mathematical quirk. It's the universal rule. It's the fundamental blueprint of how matter and energy interact. And where does this pattern appear? Well, look at the sheer scale of it. It happens in our earthly ecosystems, where decay directly feeds new growth. It happens out in deep space, with the birth, collapse, and explosive rebirth of stars. It occurs in living biological systems, right down to the very cellular structures that are regenerating in your own body right now. I mean, your skin cells are completely turning over every 28 days as you're sitting here listening to this. It happens in the very fabric of structure itself. From the macro to the micro, reality breathes in cycles. Okay, let's dive into this. The engine behind the whole shebang, the dynamic vacuum. This is the deepest layer of reality where existence never truly stops. It only transforms. Now, we often picture a vacuum as an empty, dark box with absolutely nothing inside, right? But if the vacuum itself is dynamic, that means there is no true emptiness. There's a constant humming activity and interaction underneath it all, ensuring that reality stays in a perpetual, restless state of motion. Section 3. The dynamic vacuum. So let's look at the underlying physics of how this cosmic reorganization systematically takes place. Like, how does reality actually cycle through these phases without just turning into pure chaos? The crucial point is understanding the mechanics of how it unfolds. First, a stable phase emerges. Everything seems settled and ordered. But eventually, inevitably, it becomes unstable. The energy shifts. Then comes rupture. And this is absolutely vital to understand. Rupture is not a failure of the system. It's a structural requirement, because only after the rupture can a new organization appear. Destruction is, quite literally, the prerequisite for creation. Let's move on and see how this builds our understanding of time itself. Now, you might be wondering, does this mean we live the exact same life over and over? Are we stuck in a cosmic Groundhog's Day? No, definitely not. Identical repetition implies mechanical, exact copies. But nature actually operates on recurring patterns. The new organization that pops up from the rupture is dynamic. It's not identical to what came before, but it follows familiar structures. It's a lot more like a spiral than a closed suckle. History doesn't repeat itself perfectly, but it certainly rhymes. Section 4. The eternal return. This is the moment where we pull all those micro and macro elements together, the dying stars, the dynamic vacuum, the required ruptures, into one grand cohesive framework. What we call the universe may not be a single event, but part of a larger cycle of organization and reorganization. Just let the awe-inspiring vastness of that thought settle over you. Our entire universe, with all its galaxies, its billions of years of history, and its immense complexity, might just be a single breath in an endless cosmic rhythm. It's a deeply humbling, yet incredibly beautiful way to view our existence.
If this cyclical theory holds true, and honestly, the patterns of nature strongly suggest it does, it fundamentally alters the ultimate philosophical questions we have to ask about our reality. The old question we've obsessed over for centuries, how did everything begin, feels almost obsolete in a dynamic vacuum. The new question, the one that truly aligns with an eternal, cycling reality, is vastly different. It focuses on the process, not just a starting line.
And that question is, how does structure continue to return? It's a profound shift in perspective. We aren't just looking out into the dark for a distant, one-time starting spark anymore. We're trying to understand the endless, beautiful rhythm of the cosmos that's happening all around us all the time. I want you to keep that question lingering in your mind as you look at the world, the seasons, and the patterns in your own life today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and never stop questioning the nature of our reality.